This old lady, who has been scamming people since she was young, accidentally caused the death of an intern doctor. She was destined to die at the age of 100, but a mistake by the Soul Reaper resulted in the boy's restless spirit. The Soul Reaper, with a pitiful look, says to Xing Aofei, "I'm sorry, I took the wrong person again. I should have taken the scamming old lady." Xing Aofei knows that the dead cannot be revived, so he goes to the underworld to seek justice. The security guard, a cow-headed creature, tells Xing Aofei that he's a 24-year-old poor loser with bad luck. The judge in charge of reincarnation is inside, so he should hurry. The judge, holding the book of life and death, asks, "Why did you take the wrong person again, girl?" He sighs, "I always have to clean up your mess." Then, he casually says, "There's no other choice, Xing Aofei. Choose your next life in the 6 realms of existence so you won't be a waste in your next life." Seeing the judge's rash decision, Xing Aofei's spirit nearly dies from anger. "What, I'm just going to reincarnate like this? That's not fair!" The judge scolds him. "You're not allowed to interrupt me." 2 ghostly enforcers appear behind Xing Aofei, who feels wronged. "Sir, I am the victim," the judge argues. "Scamming deserves death. You interfered with official business by saving her, so I won't pursue the matter." Xing Aofei is rendered speechless. It seems the judge is right. The judge impatiently asks, "What are you waiting for? Take him away." Xing Aofei is full of resentment, accusing the judge of being unjust. "I've been cautious all my life, and I finally did something brave, only to end up like this. You sent the ghost enforcers, so you're responsible too." Unexpectedly, Xing Aofei's complaint opens up a new life for him. The judge glares at him with guilty eyes and roars, "You have no right to speak here! Drag him away and throw him into the realm of beasts." At this point, Xing Aofei makes a final struggle, pointing at the judge and saying, "I want to file a complaint." On the way to the underworld, the Soul Reaper tearfully told Xing Aofei, "If you complain about me, not only will I fail this month's assessment, but I'll also be punished for my previous mistakes." It turns out the underworld has kept up with the times, imitating the 007 work system of the human world. As a model for the underworld service industry, all ghost enforcers must follow the slogan, "The customer is always right," and achieve 100% satisfaction. If they make a mistake, they will be sent to the 18 levels of hell for punishment. Hearing Xing Aofei mention the word complaint, a skeleton customer service agent suddenly appears out of thin air. "Mr. Xing, who would you like to file a complaint against?" The judge's face darkens, and in the next second, he changes his attitude. "Mr. Xing Aofei, please let me know your needs, and I will do my best to satisfy you." Xing Aofei takes a gamble, saying his purpose in coming to the underworld is to return to the human world. The judge ponders and concludes that returning to the human world is unlikely. Even though you'll have the system, you still need to earn your lifespan by completing tasks. Of course, the system's heaven-defying tasks aren't simple either. Hearing this description, Xing Aofei's heart is filled with mixed emotions. In this life, he's accomplished nothing. He has been oppressed by the hospital with no humanity. His girlfriend of 10 years ran off with a rich second-generation guy. If he could start over again, even if it costs him everything, he doesn't want to be a waste that everyone despises. He clenches his teeth and swears, "I won't give up easily. I choose to be reborn." The next second, colorful black rays of light entangle him, and the judge chants a spell. "Restore the human, separate the ghost from the mountain. Lord Yama orders, sign this contract with the mortal." In an instant, the black light merges into Xing Aofei's soul. The machine displays that the contract is complete, and he receives the rebirth system. Seeing the contract, Xing Aofei feels a chill on his back, as it states that if he can't complete the system's tasks on time, he'll never be able to reincarnate. This means that no matter what tasks the system assigns, he has to accept unconditionally, and it's clearly a trap. He clenches his teeth, but just as he says, "I refuse," he suddenly feels a piercing pain in his abdomen. The judge smirks and says, "You've already signed the contract. Speaking such words now is equivalent to suicide. Xing Aofei sweats profusely, cursing in his heart. I knew there's no such thing as a free lunch. The judge warns him again. You had no choice in your previous life, and you tried your best just to be an intern. Make an effort in this rebirth. The soul-collecting messenger reminds him. Don't worry, this system is very precious, and it can transform you into a peerless divine doctor. The judge immediately becomes furious. Stop talking nonsense. It seems I've been too lenient with you. Guards, send this soul-collecting soldier to the 18th layer of hell before the guest is reborn. The hero shall never reincarnate. Xing Aofei pleads with the judge to let the soul-collecting messenger be his guide, serving him in his new life and helping him grow faster, and that he'll make up for his past mistakes. Otherwise, he threatens to file a complaint. Hearing the word complaint, the judge becomes submissive. Rules are dead, and ghosts are dead too. I'll make an exception. He then opens the door to reincarnation. After they leave, the judge mutters to himself. I don't know what Lord Yama sees in this kid, not only leading him to the underworld for a show but also giving him such a heaven-defying system. In the blink of an eye, Lord Yama appears behind the judge. This kid is a true divine doctor. His fate is irreplaceable. I hope he can live up to his potential, become a peerless divine doctor, and not waste all the effort I've put into him. Xing Aofei finds himself back in his room, and even more bizarrely, he's been reborn as his 18-year-old self. But when he opens the underworld system, he finds out that not only is it a scam, but it also enjoys mocking people. He thought it was just a joke from the system, but the information displayed about the host is just the beginning of the insult. Xing Aofei's entire attributes are crowned by the system, just short of putting the word useless on the screen. Xing Aofei goes crazy, thinking this means he's worse than a dog in everything but intelligence. What's worse, the system turns against him and automatically activates nightmare mode, asking the host to find Hua Tuo within 2 days. Xing Aofei feels like dying. Damn it, I can't do this anymore. Having said that, the system immediately determines that the host refuses the task and is about to activate the punishment mechanism. The little girl stops him. Big brother, if you keep talking like this, your soul will be forcibly taken back by the underworld. The little girl then remembers that the rebirth system has a redemption mechanism, but to activate it, you must actually call the system Daddy 3 times. Xing Aofei fiercely slams the table. My principle in life is to be flexible. He embraces the system in front of him and forcefully shouts, Daddy 3 times. The system laughs secretly and really activates the redemption mechanism. Next, he must choose the career supported by the system. Among the options, there are not only trainees with 2.5 years of experience, but also simple occupations like cleaning up excrement. Xing Aofei decisively chooses the most promising entrepreneur, but the system tells him, Poor kid, don't daydream. Xing Aofei is quickly driven insane, and he clicks on all the available career options. As a result, none can be selected. It turns out that providing options is just a prank by the system. He has to go back to his old profession as a doctor. The new task for the doctor's career is to save a person within 24 hours and get 5 contribution points. But these days, people needing treatment are in hospitals, and who would ask a high school student for treatment? However, if he doesn't complete the task, he will die on the spot. The little girl reminds him that if he gets contribution points, he can exchange them for task replacement cards, and when he encounters a difficult task, he can just replace it. Hearing this, Xing Aofei suddenly feels rejuvenated. What are we waiting for? But as soon as he opens the door, he sees a familiar pair of eyes, his long-lost mother. Xing Aofei is stunned. His mother had passed away from lung cancer when he went to college, and it has been his lifelong pain. Xing Aofei's scalp tingles, and he chokes out, Mom, before throwing himself into her arms. It's been so long, Mom. His mother is somewhat puzzled. Xing, are you still half asleep? Your classmate is waiting for you outside. As soon as he goes downstairs, Xing Aofei sees his best friend, Tang Yong, with a sunny face. After graduation, Tang Yong becomes despondent due to a failed business venture, surrounded by smoke and drowning his sorrows in alcohol. Tang Yong looks helpless. Aofei, we've been waiting for you at our class's graduation party for a long time. Moreover, your crush, Reigning Ro, will be there. Hearing that his goddess will be there, Xing Aofei forgets about the system task. Reigning Ro is Xing Aofei's secret crush from high school and his last regret from that time. It's because of an incident at the graduation party that Xing Aofei becomes weak, and as a result, he wastes his entire life. The goddess receives thousands of gifts from the school bully, but she takes a whole 3 years to decide not to accept them, just because of his creepy appearance. In this era of judging by appearances, no matter how much he tries to persuade, Ran Yingru never wants to give him a second look. She realizes that being aggressive is his proper style. Seeing the situation turning bad, the female class president immediately jumps out to report to the teacher, but the commoner school bully slaps her. I can't stand your usual nonsense. Graduated and still reporting to the teacher? Did you read yourself, stupid? This scene is Xing Aofei's lifelong pain because his goddess dropped out after graduation to marry the school bully, and he wasted 10 years of his life in despair. Now, having been reborn, he will not allow the tragedy to happen again. Just as he is about to fight back, he is knocked away by a thug, vomiting up his food. The school bully continues with a kick. Don't try to be a hero if you're not capable. At this critical moment, the system injects a ray of morning light into Xing Aofei's body. In the next second, his strength value soars, and with a punch through the air, the school bully faints, foaming at the mouth. Afterward, the school bully kneels in front of Ran Yingru, begging for mercy. Xing Aofei warns him not to pester Ran Yingru anymore, or he will make him leave horizontally. This time, Xing Aofei reaps great rewards, conquering the goddess, gaining a class president, and winning over people's hearts. But at this moment, bad news comes. Because the system helped boost his stats, the original 24-hour task of saving a person is now reduced to a desperate 1 hour. Just as he is about to bid farewell in a hurry, the goddess takes the initiative to ask Xing Aofei to meet her tomorrow night by the lake outside the village. Hearing this, Xing Aofei can't recover for a long time. He decisively agrees and then gets on the bus to the city, as there are more people there and a higher chance of finding someone to treat. However, what Xing Aofei doesn't know is that he carelessly boarded a wrong bus, heading to the industrial area. The industrial area is desolate, but it is too late to return to the city, and the task is urgent. If he doesn't complete it, he will die. He runs all the way, hoping to find a patient. Until he steps on a human head, he immediately imagines the worst, and his entire body is scared to fly up, wondering if the guy was dumped here? But after careful observation, he finds that the braised egg is still breathing, probably just fractured and fainted from the pain. Xing Aofei sighs. Luckily you met me, otherwise, delaying treatment would result in amputation. I guess it's a blessing in disguise. Xing Aofei lets out a fierce yell and, with a snap, sets the bones in place. He then tears the bald man's t-shirt into shreds. To minimize bone damage, he uses a few tree branches to create a makeshift splint. There are actually 2 more of the bald man's buddies on the scene, and Xing Aofei, being a good Samaritan, treats them all. But they're in the middle of nowhere. Were they injured by criminals? Just then, a cold breeze brushes past Xing Aofei, and the girl lands a powerful punch on a tree trunk, leaving an indent. Before Xing Aofei can explain, the girl's super strength sends him flying, and he passes out. When he comes to, he finds himself in jail, and the box containing the system has been confiscated. As Xing Aofei cries, a red-haired girl walks in with a smug face. She sticks her tongue out at Xing Aofei and says, "Get ready to go to jail." The girl leaves without looking back, leaving a baffled Xing Aofei behind. A little girl suddenly appears and comforts him. "Don't be afraid, big brother. You've completed the first task, and the system has improved your abilities." The next second, the black box containing the system appears out of thin air. Xing Aofei can't help but marvel at the system's magic in locating its host. He eagerly opens the system, and although his stats have increased slightly, he's still humiliated by the rebellious system. Following the procedure, Xing Aofei enters the interrogation room and finds that everyone from last night is there. It turns out that the three troublemakers have agreed on a story before Xing Aofei arrives, accusing him of being lustful and scheming. The red-haired girl confronts Xing Aofei. All three of them admit you're the mastermind. What do you have to say for yourself? Xing Aofei feels hopeless, knowing it's hard to defend himself. But the more the truth is twisted, the more he needs to stay calm. In that case, let me recreate the scene to show you how I saved them. After all, my medical skills can't be faked. The officer finds this reasonable, but the bald man is unhappy. Why are you kicking us when we're down? The next second, the bald man charges with his fists raised. But because Xing Aofei's mental strength has increased, the bald man's movements seem slow and powerless to him. Xing Aofei seizes the opportunity and kicks the bald man, breaking his bones again. The officer solemnly says, "If he were really a thug, he wouldn't have let you kick him. He's innocent." The next second, there's another crisp crack from the bald man's broken bones. This time, the bone setting carries a hint of personal grudge. Xing Aofei claps his hands. "Treatment completed. But you should tell the truth to the officer about your savior." Once the confusion is cleared up, Xing Aofei is escorted out of the police station. "Haha, sorry for the misunderstanding. Your parents waited for you all night. Hurry home." Seeing his parents again, Xing Aofei hugs his mother and apologizes for worrying them. For Xing Aofei, having the system or defying the heavens is never as important as seeing his parents again. Just then, a red luxury car stops beside them, and the red-haired girl's attitude changes. "Hey, Xing Aofei, let me give you a ride home." As soon as Xing Aofei returns, he finds a crowd gathered at the entrance of his clinic. The 40-year-old son explains to the crowd that it's the quack's medicine from this criminal clinic that has caused this. The old man collapses right after taking the medicine that day. The villagers start spreading rumors, claiming the clinic is a sham. Who would dare to seek treatment here now? Seeing his parents extremely anxious, Xing Aofei squeezes out of the crowd and tells everyone to shut up. He says they don't even know the facts and are just spouting nonsense. The old man's son, Big Gold Tooth, gets furious and questions how they can accuse his father of being a quack. Xing Aofei then speaks up and changes the crowd's attitude. He says his father will patiently answer all their questions, and everyone in the village knows his father's character and medical skills. If his father misdiagnoses, their family will take full responsibility. If someone is trying to scam them, they won't let themselves be bullied. The surrounding villagers immediately change their tune, saying that the clinic is indeed good, and the doctor is skilled. Seeing the situation turn around, Big Gold Tooth starts acting like a rogue, saying that the old man's condition worsened after receiving treatment from Xing Aofei's father. Xing Aofei immediately asks the old man when the disease started. Big Gold Tooth sweats profusely but answers truthfully. It began at 9 a.m. yesterday. Xing Aofei exerts mental pressure and continues to question when they came for treatment. Big Gold Tooth doesn't dare to lie, admitting they came at 3 p.m. Xing Aofei laughs and asks why they waited so long and missed the best treatment time, making it difficult to treat. Big Gold Tooth gets anxious and grabs Xing Aofei's collar, telling him not to shirk responsibility. The old man took the medicine at 10 p.m. and turned like this. Xing Aofei easily breaks the man's grip and mocks him, saying the disease started at 9 a.m., they came for treatment at 3 p.m., and took the medicine at 10 p.m. He accuses Big Gold Tooth of deliberately worsening the condition to scam them. Exposed, Big Gold Tooth continues cursing, saying they are quacks and threatening to see them in court if his father isn't cured. Xing Aofei replies that it's easy, they just need to cure the old man, right? As the father, he knows his son's medical skills best. However, for Xing Aofei now, as long as it's a nerve-related disease, it's a piece of cake. After he was sent home the night before, Xing Aofei received a notification from the system. 5 contribution points earned him a prize. He casually selects a prize and receives a long-lost traditional Chinese massage technique. Not only that, But Xing Aofei gains access to a 1,000-fold accelerated training space and a guide to the human body's meridians. With just 1 week of practice, he can develop beginner-level internal strength and benefit from the accelerated training space. In this space, reading books feels like effortlessly inputting information with a photographic memory. In just the past 3 hours, Xing Aofei learns bone massage techniques, masters them instantly, and gains a hint of internal strength. That's why he dares to stand up for his father. When he first arrives home, he examines the old man's lumbar spine with his psychic powers, finding the 4th lumbar vertebra is swollen, causing nerve compression. Xing Aofei realizes that to treat the condition immediately, he must use his internal strength and the newly mastered massage techniques. As he places his hands on the old man's back, the man moans in comfort, feeling his soul being touched. Xing Aofei senses the swelling has almost disappeared and proceeds to use a bone-setting technique. He searches for and corrects misaligned bones in the body, which requires delicate control of power, as the old man's bones are fragile, and his internal strength needs to be both gentle and firm. If the force is too great, it could cause injury, so he must protect the spine with vital energy while resetting the bones. Xing Aofei focuses intently, not hiding his methods, but forgetting there's an old-timer watching who might ask for explanations later. He can't worry about that now, as he slowly channels his internal strength into the old man's lumbar spine and spinal cord, correcting the 4th lumbar vertebra through massage. As the bones creak, the old man, who has suffered from lumbar pain for 30 years, tries to stand up in astonishment. The son points at Xing Aofei and complains about being paralyzed by incompetent doctors, and now having his bones broken by their foolish son. Little does he know that in the next second, the old man stands up straight like a healthy person, tears streaming down his face. It's a miracle. His 30-year-old ailment is cured with a few casual touches. Xing Aofei credits his father for the successful treatment, saying the prescribed medicine reduced the swelling. The old man laughs and blames himself, saying he felt better after taking the medicine and got too excited playing mahjong with friends, causing the medicine to wear off. At first, he was fine, but after 2 hours, he couldn't speak or stand due to the pain. The old man thanks Xing Aofei and his father profusely. Big Gold Tooth, having been proven wrong, grumbles as he leaves. Xing Aofei can't hold back and tells him to stop, saying he can't just walk away after causing trouble. Big Gold Tooth turns around, warning Xing Aofei not to push his luck. Xing Aofei angrily retorts that Big Gold Tooth should be telling himself that, making him break into a cold sweat. Big Gold Tooth suggests they talk privately, and Xing Aofei laughs, mentioning an insect on his face. As Big Gold Tooth tries to swat it away, Xing Aofei sends him flying with a powerful slap. After clearing the scene, Xing Aofei is called to his father's study. His father asks who taught him the bone-setting technique and insists he revealed the truth. What would it be like to have a dad even more incredible than the system? The protagonist, trying to save his father's face, accidentally performs an exclusive skill of the divine doctor's sect in front of his father. His father gets furious and asks Xing Aofei with a dark face who taught him the skill. Xing Aofei, seeing his father so angry for the first time, makes up a story. He says he met a beggar on the street who claimed he had amazing bones. His father, serious, asks if the beggar was bald with a mole on the corner of his mouth, which to Xing Aofei's surprise turns out to be true. He confirms that it was the old man, who also taught him a mantra. His father sweats profusely as the mantra seems to strike a chord in his mind. He then grabs Xing Aofei's acupoint and exerts a deep blue inner force. He asks him to show what he's learned. In no time, Xing Aofei's inner force becomes restless and bursts out of his acupoint. His father is shocked that his son learned these skills under his nose. Feeling sentimental, he says it's time for Xing Aofei to learn some medical secrets. He explains the famous techniques of the South and North sects, and the one Xing Aofei performed is the exclusive skill of the South sect. Curious, Xing Aofei asks about the North sect's technique. His father explains it's the exclusive skill of the North sect's leader, Lu Changhe, and his only disciple is Xing Aofei himself. Xing Aofei is pleasantly surprised and says it's great to have a father like that. His father then says it's time to go to the clinic, and Xing Aofei prepares for a devilish experience. Xing Aofei thinks his father wants to punish him, but instead, his father says he'll pass on the North Sex technique to him, making him the next disciple. The technique focuses on true energy, using silver needles to drive away illnesses and evil. It stimulates various acupoints on the human body using techniques like twisting and lifting to achieve the purpose of treating stubborn diseases or exorcising evil. When his father grabbed his acupoint earlier, he noticed Xing Aofei's immense inner power but insufficient smooth flow of true energy. He teaches him to connect his true energy with the North Sex technique to avoid conflict when performing the skills of both sections. His father wraps the silver needles with his inner force and inserts them into Xing Aofei with high speed, controlling the depth and intensity. At the moment when his true energy is unblocked, Xing Aofei feels ecstatic. His father warns him that although the technique is amazing, practice is the foundation, and even the slightest difference can result in huge deviations. Xing Aofei must train diligently. The system sarcastically reminds Xing Aofei that if it weren't for its help in his rebirth, he would still be a useless person. Xing Aofei is frustrated and about to poke the system to death when he accidentally moves, causing his father to hit the wrong acupoint, which happens to be on the physiological reaction zone. The next second, the system on his leg is sent flying by a sudden erect object. Coincidentally, his mother opens the door at that moment, and Xing Aofei blushes, not knowing how to explain. As the rabbit falls to the ground, it spits out an unknown liquid. Xing Aofei never expects the butterfly needle technique to have such an effect. He shyly enters the living room after changing clothes, and his father asks in surprise if he finished so quickly. His mother exclaims how cute he is and wants to hug him, making Xing Aofei even more embarrassed. He tells her that he's already grown up. The next second, his mother hugs the system behind him, and Xiaoxi excitedly takes a carrot, a special treat prepared by his mother. Xiaoxi takes a bite and discovers an amazing taste. Xing Aofei becomes even more impatient. As he is fuming with anger, he asks the system about the reward it promised after treating the old man. He drags Xiaoxi by the ear to his room. As soon as he opens the door, the Soul Reaper puffs out her chest confidently. She looks at the system seriously, warning it not to cheat or she'll apply for a system reset in the underworld. As she speaks, she unconsciously leans towards Xing Aofei, and the fire that just calmed down is almost stoked again by him. Hearing about the system reset, Xiaoxi gives in and obediently opens the lottery function. What interesting item will Xing Aofei get from the system lottery this time?